Good evening. I'm Catherine Munn. I am the principal here at Wiles, the best school in Alachua County. Just kidding. And I see a lot of our parents here, so great. I'm going to turn it over to Miss Jackie Johnson.
Thank you, Ms. Munn, and thank you very much to all your staff for your hospitality today. We appreciate it. And thank you to all of you for being here, for braving the rain and the traffic to be here and to share your input on rezoning with our district staff and with our school board members. All of our school board members are here tonight. Let me introduce them. We have our chair, Tina Certain. We have our vice chair, Dr. Leonetta McNeely, board member Dion McGraw, board member Kay Abbott, and board member Dr. Sarah Rockwell. So they are all here to hear what you have to say about rezoning. At this time, I'd like to turn it over just briefly to Chairman Certain to say a few words.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson, and thank you, Ms. Munn, and your staff for hosting us, and welcome to the parents. Thank you all for taking the time out, as has been said, to come. Tonight, the board is here to listen and hear your feedback on this process that is called comprehensive rezoning. We've pivoted and moved away from spot rezoning, where we were just considering a few schools, into now we're working to and receiving input to rezone all of our schools in the county, K through 12. The last time this was done was in 1983, and then there was a larger spot rezoning done in 2002. So this is, we've had a lot of growth in our county and since those years, in the past 21 years, since we last did this, and we have some schools that we're dealing with that are over-enrolled, and we have some schools that are under-enrolled, and we have a new build, a school that's newly built. So it's incumbent upon the board to consider how we can improve our operational efficiency, our financial efficiency, and just how we can serve our families and students to the highest quality, and that entails doing what's called rezoning, redrawing attendance boundaries. Whenever that comes up, it kind of a lot of stress and anxiety because it has changed. It's something that hasn't been done for a while, but I'm asking that everyone be patient with the process, trust the process. We're listening, and we'll do and be very considerate of as much of the feedback that we get, but recognizing that we can't please everyone, and it's not that we're intentionally going about trying to not satisfy the constituencies, but there are a lot of competing demands, and we have to do what we think is best, operate as best for the overall district, all 29,000 students. So thank you for coming. Ms. Johnson will give us a little bit more info as to how tonight will go. And again, thank you for coming out.
Rundown about how we will be operating tonight. You will see we have a microphone in the center. When it's time, I will give everyone the signal that you can come up to the microphone. You will have 3 minutes to talk with the board. We've got a timer here. I will be running the timer, and it'll count down, so you'll see how much time that you have available. And then when your 3 minutes is up, Ms. Certain will call up the next speaker. If you have input but you don't want to share it here at the microphone, you can also use the QR code to email our special email box, rezoning@gm.sbac.edu, and that will also be seen by the district staff and the board members as they consider rezoning. We will have a brief presentation for you that includes current enrollment data, current maps, but I do stress that word current. No maps have been drawn yet. No zone lines have been drawn yet. That doesn't happen until we have heard the community input. And we'll have a little bit more about the calendar on rezoning in just a couple of minutes. We are recording this meeting, and we will post it in a few days on our rezoning website, which is www.sbac.edu/rezoning. That website has quite a bit of information. It has videos of all of the previous meetings we've held on rezoning. It has all of the data that you're going to see here tonight, and of course we will keep adding to that as the process moves forward. We have the calendar of rezoning meetings that will be coming up, so we encourage you to check out that website, and we will be adding to it, as I said. So at this point, what I'd like to do is turn it over to Dr. Antonique Edwards to share some preliminary information with you. Then Suzanne Wynn, who is our Director of Construction and Planning. She will have a few slides to share with you. I will have a couple of slides to share with you, and then we'll start hearing from you. So, Dr. Edwards.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. She's already introduced me as the Chief of Equity, Inclusion, and Community Engagement, and under that umbrella falls the Zoning Department. And so we're sharing today some of the rationale behind why we are doing comprehensive rezoning. I was thinking our board chair really took the thunder. I don't have to say much. She shared a lot of it. Our last comprehensive rezoning for our school district was literally 40 years ago in 1983. And so it is really time for us to look at the zoning lines within our school district. There have been a lot of changes since that point in time. And we know that more than half of our schools actually are overcrowded. And so when we look at the capacity at schools, we know that 20 of the 37 schools are at 90% or more is how we're defining being overcrowded at our schools. And so we need to look at the space. In our school district, we have 5,400 open seats. And so when we look at capacity, we're talking about permanent capacity of buildings, was not inclusive of portables that you see on campus, right? Those are additional funds that we spend in order to put portables on the campuses of schools. And so we are looking at the actual seat counts in our buildings, and we look at our district as one district, not just what's happening on the north side or the south side or the east side or the west side. So in totality, we have more than 5,000 seats available for children to be able to go into classrooms and learn. And so although we know that there is crowding sometimes in some areas, we have other places where there is capacity. To build new schools is extremely expensive. And so we want to make sure that we are fiscally responsible, and as we are looking at rezoning, that we are utilizing dollars that we have for our existing structures and to make those structures appropriate across the district for all students regardless of where they live. There are limitations by way of the state, of course, on what new construction can take place and the dollars that are able to be spent on new construction projects. And so we have to take all of those factors in consideration, not putting strain on our core facilities that exist, but instead utilizing them appropriately so that we can have students across the board working together in order to meet the needs and demands of all students. Anything additional? I think we're good. Did I skip something because I didn't look at the slide?
No, you did not. I do want to let folks know that you may have picked up a frequently asked questions at the front table. If not, be sure to pick one up on the way out because it does have some more details about things like what are some of the state limitations on building new facilities, what does core facilities mean. So if you would like some more information, you can find that information on this sheet here. At this time, I think I'd like to turn it over to Suzanne Wynn to share with you some of the data that we'll be using throughout this process. Suzanne?
Good evening. I'm excited to be here with everyone this evening. Just to reiterate some of the whys that we're rezoning. One thing that we want to do is first and foremost provide high quality learning experiences for all of our students district-wide. Provide relief to overcrowded core facilities, and also use our facilities in an efficient manner, and as well as our funds. I have enrollment tables in there for elementary, middle, and high school. The green zones are less than 85%, and the red zones are 90% or more. We have the percentage part of our capacity that we have at our schools. In elementary school district-wide, we have over 2,500 vacant seats. In our middle schools, we have over 1,800 vacant seats district-wide. And in our high schools, we have over 1,100 vacant seats district-wide. Following those tables up, we have the zones that were basically displayed on those tables. We have them highlighted in the colors that were represented on those tables. To sum up our district comprehensively, we have a lot of overcrowding and newer schools in the western part of our district, and we have the under-enrolled schools in the eastern part of our district. And the schools that are in need of redevelopment, renovation, such as what we've been doing at Idlewild and Metcalf, we're in the process of doing that. We did it at Bishop. We're in the process of doing that at Westwood Middle School. The walls just started going up yesterday, which was really exciting. So this is a graphic representation of the overcapacity that we have. This is the map representing the middle schools, and then the next map after that is the high schools. One thing I want to do is provide you information that shows the data that we do have going into this rezoning effort. I don't want to take a ton of time because we want to hear from you and what your thoughts are. We have all of our student addresses mapped in GIS, and that's something that's going to assist us with this rezoning effort. You can see the black dots where the clusters are. We have a lot of our student population in the western part of our county. The centroid of our student population is actually in the vicinity of Buchholz High School on the western fringes of the city of Gainesville. So we have this information for elementary, middle, and high. This information will show you the number of students that are enrolled versus zoned, as well as the capacity of the school on these maps. And following these maps, we have the active development. This is something that we work cooperatively with the Alachua County and all of the cities to gather development data from them. Active development is considered development that's currently going on or that will be happening in the next 3 years, less than 3 years. As you can see, it's clustered in the western part of our county. And this shows you the areas where we have the active development that's going to be up and coming, coupled with the elementary school zones, and again, the middle school zones and the high school zones. This basically shows you by zone the projection of the number of students that are expected to be generated from these developments up and coming in the next current to 3 years. A lot of them are in the western part of the county. This is information that we are going to be incorporating into our rezoning process to account for these students that we're projecting that will be coming into our schools. Are there any questions I can answer at this time? Yes.
So these are potential students, like what's the development? Like what's saying these are added.
Can you go to the mic?
You're saying these are potential students with that development that will be added to these schools. Is that what this is saying?
Yes.
Okay.
We have statistical information that creates student generation multipliers based on single-family or multifamily residential units, and that's what creates our projections for students that we're expecting. You know, one thing that is hard to model are the number of students that are migrating out of our schools as new students from new development are coming in. But this is something that will be accounted for in our rezoning process. Can you come to the microphone, please?
Looking at this, Terwilliger's not listed on the elementary at all. So where's the projection there?
I think there's a little confusion. This is active development, and those are developments where if they're under the existing school zones where the homes would be, the children that from those developments would be zoned to.
So if you look up on that map up there to the right of Hidden Oak, that is the Terwilliger zone. The Terwilliger zone is not around the actual elementary school, and there is no active development planned in that zone right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Next couple of slides will give you an idea of our timeline for rezoning. This is our second community input session. We have 3 more coming up. One is coming up on Thursday, then we have one on the 4th and one on the 10th. As you can see, we've spread them out throughout the district, and you are welcome to attend any or all of those sessions. And again, I want to stress that these are sessions that we are holding before any maps are drawn, any lines are drawn. The plan is for proposed, and again I stress proposed, zone lines maps to be presented to the board on August 16th at an August 16th workshop. And then you can see between August 16th and October 17th, that's when we plan to have what I call our post-map community input sessions, where we will again travel around the county and share with parents and the public the proposed zone lines and get their input on those proposed zone lines. There is a regular board meeting on September 19th. That's what's called the first reading. There is a process under state law that we have to go through with a very specific timeline to change the zone lines or really change any policy, and that process begins on September 19th. Then there will be a public hearing on October 17th, and ultimately the goal is for the board to vote on new zone lines on November 7th. And again, these zone lines would take effect for the 24-25 school year. That is our presentation. Again, we have more information on the frequently asked questions page and on our website. But at this time, we're going to start taking public input. So if you are interested in speaking, please line up behind the microphone. And I believe Ms. Certain has just a couple of housekeeping items to share at this point.
Yes, we'll have, each citizen will have 3 minutes to speak with the board. If you state your name, and you can come on up.
Hi, my name is Nathan Wei, and I am a junior at Buholtz High School in the Academy of Finance. I would like to speak about the benefits of the magnet programs at Buholtz. The magnet programs at Buholtz are one of the most diverse groups in this school. It brings together excellent students from all over the county into one unique group. Because taxpayers pay for the magnet programs in this county, they should be open to all Alachua County students. We shouldn't limit magnet programs to a certain region. That only limits diversity. By allowing students from all corners of Alachua to apply for magnet programs, we give all children in the county an equal opportunity to join programs they wish, benefiting the diversity of Buholtz and giving more opportunities to students that may not be zoned for Buholtz, but have a special interest in learning. If the school board were to cut off non-zone students from joining magnet programs or eliminating magnet programs, students who wish to learn in these specialized classes will no longer have access to them. While overcrowding is genuinely an issue at Buholtz, moving the magnet programs away from Buholtz would hurt the students within the program and the school itself. There are already limits on the number of non-zone students that are accepted into the academies at Buholtz, and the numbers that were previously presented make it appear that magnet students are the root of the overcrowding. This is not the case if you take the zone students from the magnet numbers. There are alternative solutions that fix this that don't necessitate the removal of a certain group of students or the entire magnet program. I would also like to speak of the idea of a school within a school that I've heard of. I believe that this belief doesn't fairly represent the students of these magnet programs. Only one of the 6 classes that we require to take each year is an academy class, and we have more than plenty of opportunities to interact with other Buholtz students. While we may be part of an academy or a magnet program, we are Buholtz Bobcats through and through. The academies have already been well integrated into Buholtz and have developed into communities that are part of the school's personality. The Bobcat branch and the Spirit Shop are the special shops that are run by these magnet programs, and they're some of the most unique features of our school. Moving these programs would drastically alter the character of our school, and I would like to urge the school board to rethink the repercussions of such a decision. All right. Thank you.
If you wish to speak, if you would go ahead and queue up at the mic so that we can just kind of go.
Hello? Okay. Good afternoon, School Board of Alachua County. My name is Neha. I attended the STEM program at Stephen Foster, attend the Lyceum program at Lincoln, and will be in the IB program at Eastside in the fall. Today, I will be speaking about the benefits of all of the magnet programs in our district. Over the past few weeks, I've heard many perspectives about the issue of rezoning Alachua County schools and/or removing magnet programs altogether. From my point of view, as a current Lyceum and future IB student, stopping magnet programs in our district will be nothing but detrimental to all the students here. To start, every one of our magnets is special. Our highly rigorous magnet programs are one of the main reasons that Alachua County receives the national recognition that it does. Every year, we have math and science teams from Buchholz winning at national levels, a high rate of acceptance at elite colleges from all of the Alachua County magnet programs, and even a Lyceum student who is moving on to represent North Central Florida at the National Spelling Bee this year. The Wall Street Journal has named one of Buchholz's teams America's greatest math team in 2022, and the IB program had 29 National Merit semifinalists in 2021. These are students that have put in the work to stay in the magnet programs, learn at advanced levels, and apply that knowledge in everyday life. Overpopulation has been a major concern for students, teachers, and parents alike. For one, Buchholz is almost at 125% capacity. Many people have used that statistic to advocate for rezoning without really taking into account that half of the magnet program is actually zoned for the school. Even then, students who go to Eastside are assisting the district and preventing further overpopulation in Southwest schools by traveling across town for the IB program. I would estimate that about 90% of the IB program is not zoned for Eastside. It takes a lot to spend 2 hours on a bus every day just to get to and from school. But we do it because we want the challenge and rigor it offers. Some students will thrive in a challenging, accelerated environment, whereas the same environment could be stressful for students that require a regularly paced education. Different children have different needs, and I would request the school board to consider every student's preferences. If the district were to eliminate our magnet programs entirely, I'm afraid that we would lose a good portion of our students to Gainesville's private and charter schools. For my class of 2027, we have had constant interruptions due to COVID our 6th grade year, and then the rapid increase in fights in our 7th grade due to the lasting behavioral issues after isolation. The last thing we need is another interruption. But this time, our lives will be completely turned upside down because we once again have to learn how to function at a new school with little to no guidance. I would like to humbly request that no major changes be made to high school magnets, especially when these 4 years are the most crucial to forming a foundation for our future careers. With all due respect, I don't believe that eliminating Alachua County magnet programs will have any of the positive effects that it seems are expected from this change. Thank you so much for listening.
Sorry. Good evening. My name is Matteo Gavolano, and I am a sophomore at Buchholz. I know my voice may not hold much weight here, but I just wanted to humbly thank you for taking the time to listen to us. It really means a lot to me. Now, as a son of 2 immigrants who worked hard day and night to secure a brighter future for me and my younger sister, always telling us to take opportunities every step of the way, I understand the push for diversity, which is a huge critique for our schools, and we need it now more than ever, considering the state of the world. That being said, getting rid of the magnet programs would only prove to be a detriment for everybody. For instance, I live near the borders of Gainesville, but I'm zoned for Santa Fe High School, which is much farther from here than it is to Buchholz. And I believe that thanks to these magnet programs, not only have I been given an opportunity to succeed in life, but it's also helped my family avoid more costs in terms of transportation and in terms of, well, when I took the finance program in freshman year, let me tell you, I don't regret taking that because the magnet programs, this program has taught me so many valuable things, from learning how to avoid debt, for instance, student loan, which is a huge problem in our school systems, to learning how to file taxes and investing. These lessons, with all due respect, aren't just things that you will easily forget, but these are some things that are important for everybody to learn in the future. And another complaint that I understand, to reassure everybody, another complaint is about the overcrowding, but our school systems are very selective over who gets to go to which school and all the matters of that. But restricting the choices of everybody who wishes to go to their schools to fully realize themselves simply because of where they live, that'll only cause more harm than good. And with all due respect, I believe that's the opposite of diversity to me. And many of my friends who, might I argue, are succeeding in life because of the magnet programs, because they've been given an opportunity to shine. And I just ask that however you go about rezoning these schools, for the sake of the children who work hard to make their parents proud, I ask that you leave the magnet programs intact, because many people I know wouldn't be where they are without them.
Thank you. Matteo, I think. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anish Patel, and I'm a 9th grader enrolled in the Academy of Finance. The Academy of Finance brings together diverse minds across the county, united by their interest in finance. Whether it's accounting or personal finance, the Academy allows students to learn things that they wouldn't learn in a normal classroom. In turn, these allow students to explore new career paths. Students are even able to do taxes for free for their community. However, if the Academy is only open to those zoned, then these opportunities will be taken away from non-zoned students, like myself, that have an interest in finance. The Academy of Finance is already well integrated into Buchholz. Only Buchholz has a branch of the Florida Credit Union on its campus. Buchholz, being the largest school in the county, has the best ability to hold such a magnet program. Moving the Academy could harm the program tremendously and debilitate its ability to serve students. Undoubtedly, overcrowding is an issue in the county. However, it would be irresponsible to consider moving around or removing magnet programs as a solution to this problem. Thank you for your time.
Hello, board, Madam Chair. Thank you guys, especially for picking Wiles. It's a proud. So I am the media specialist here at Wiles, but I'm also a kindergarten parent. So as you are rezoning, one of my concerns is looking at where our low-income students are in the district. And where they fall along those lines. So schools like Wiles, I believe, are so successful. Obviously, I'm biased because this is my home, but I believe that the success has a lot to do with the balance of our school. More recently, our percentage of students who qualify for free or reduced lunch, I think, is around 48%. And what happens is our community is able to lift up and support those around us. So we have over 300 students that qualify for free and reduced lunch. However, our PTA, our fundraisers, our book fairs, things here are very successful, and not just for students that come from higher income families, but we are able to spread that wealth around a little more. So I think when we're drawing these lines, we have to pay attention to where those students are located. Terwilliger, if you look back at history of Terwilliger was an A school. So around the exact same time that Meadowbrook was finished, I didn't hear a mention of any kind of spot rezoning with Meadowbrook being finished. It was around 2012, I believe. But when that happened, almost exactly a year or 2 years later, Terwilliger became a C school and then 2 years later fell to a D school. So my concern is, especially with the location of our new school, where Terwilliger is located now, that the domino effect of moving students and where those low-income students are going to fall. Because when those low-income students are all segregated into one school, they don't have the community support. The parents who are working 2 jobs or, single-income families, they need the support of their community. And it's our job as a community to make sure that we're able to continue doing that. And we don't have schools that are so bogged down with so many low-income students that they can't support themselves. Thank you.
I didn't get your name, which you told me earlier, and I can't remember, so I apologize. Would you tell me again?
Devin Campbell.
Devin Campbell. Thank you, Ms. Campbell.
Hello, respected board members. My name is Asmita Gupte, and I've been a parent of one former and one current student in the Alachua County District, mostly the magnet school. So we really haven't ever gone to a zoned school. For work, I take care of patients with marginalized population and with limited resources. This is to say that I know that disparities are widespread in our community, and I applaud the board members as well as the superintendent who are clearly invested in working for improving the educational conditions for these students, and that was pretty clear through all the board meetings. I wanted to make a couple of points in favor of magnet programs. I do believe that educational needs for all the students are not the same, irrespective of socioeconomic status, race, or identity. Therefore, Dr. Rockwell's comment in one of the meetings resonated with me. She mentioned that in a national conference she attended, they discussed the concept of meeting every individual student's needs. I hope that the school board will not lose sight of this. Magnet programs have their place for students who are able to take the rigor, but for others, a more regular, slower pace may be the optimal way to go. So please keep this under consideration when you go through the overhauling of the magnet process. Another comment by Ms. McGraw, or was it Dr. McNeely, I don't remember, who was sharing her experience from another national meeting, and she mentioned that today a student is not competing with the student next to them, but with a global student who may be thousands of miles away from our community. The US is not particularly doing well in STEM subjects reading, and I went up on the Pew Trust and their ratings, and basically we are not at the top. You would think that the richest and the world's most powerful country will be among the top 3 or 5, but we are not among the 10 or 20 either. So the point I'm trying to make is we have to keep encouraging our high-achieving, driven students through our magnet programs. These kids will go to the positions where they'll make a difference, not only for our country, but they might come back to our local district and make a difference. Regarding the whole magnet, I put some thought into it. To me, magnet programs are best suited for students from any background, really, who are driven and willing to work hard and to keep pace with an accelerated program. And they can only be best run if everyone is in the same frame of mind and has a common goal. Having fights or behavioral issues will typically be a disruption for this atmosphere of learning. So I also really implore you to maybe have an anonymous survey for magnet teachers so you can get their input, because they know the programs best and they know which students may be suited for this program. In summary, I request that no major changes be made to the magnets, especially the high schools, because it will put more pressure on an already stressed high school. Instead of—
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Just 1 second.
I really need, I'm going to have to go on. If I let you go, I'll have to let others go.
Sure,
so thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Hello, my name's James Olson. I'm a parent. I've been a parent of children in the Alachua County School District for over 20 years now. I have 2 that graduated, another one back in elementary school, and we've been to multiple schools as well. One thing that I noticed on the enrollment table, all the schools that are under enrolled are actually some of the worst graded schools out of the the current grading system. They all have D's or F's, and there's a couple with C's, but they're the lowest performing school. And as a parent, I have to feel that, when with my child in a low performing school, I'm going to move them to another school. And if I can't do that through, the zoning, I'm going to be forced to take them into a private setting. And that's one of the problems that I've seen through the high schools when we go to other schools, is that our infrastructure, our school system, our schools buildings themselves are some of the worst in the state. And another issue why, I realize there's a funding issue, but every other county in the state that I've seen has better buildings and structures than ours. And, that's a big concern that I have with rezoning. I've seen my own children succeed through our public school systems and falter both. And it's a big concern that some of these overcrowded schools are also some of the best performing schools, and that's what I see the parents pushing their kids to there. And if we rezone it, I'm not sure how that's going to help. And definitely with the parents that have the means, they're going to pull their students if they get rezoned into an unfavorable school where it's got poor grades, and they're going to be pulling them into the private sector, especially I believe there's vouchers more available throughout the state as well now. So that's one of my biggest concerns, that the lowest populated schools are the worst graded schools, and the highest graded schools are the most populated schools. And it just makes me nervous that my child will be pulled out of a well-performing school into a less performing school just because of rezoning. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rohan Chong, and I'm from Beholtz Academy of Finance. So first of all, I believe rezoning is actually not a bad idea, because some schools are overcrowded and some schools are undercrowded, and that is fine. However, I believe that they should not be touching magnet programs, because those are not related. As magnet programs are actually academies that help students develop their future careers, that help them develop future skills. For example, me at the Academy of Finance, I can learn about taxing, taxes, banking, and how to not get in debt, which all is helpful to students after their life in high school. And students obviously have different interests, and students in the same zones obviously do not have the same interest. So why should we be limiting students that live in a certain zone to only a certain magnet program in that school? And students should be able to select what magnet program or whatever that interests them, and whichever school that they want to go to. And simply letting all students into magnet programs also does not work, because the program's obviously going to be worse because there's a limited resource. And for example, at the Academy of Finance, there's always a laptop shortage, and the teacher is always working hard, and they cannot be overloaded even more than they are right now. So, yeah. And how are you going to find the same teachers who are always committed to the same tasks, always committed to over 200 students? And that's very difficult to find. So I believe that though rezoning is good for schools, teachers and, magnet programs should not be touched.
Okay, good evening. So, dear member of the board, so my name is Yong Yang. So I'm here to express my support for the comprehensive rezone, while I urge the board to consider the magnet program untouched, if not improved. So basically, I fully endorse the comprehensive rezone plan, and it helped to balance the student population, address the change which occurred in the last 2 decades. We have the population change. Student population is not well aligned with school capacity, and this is long overdue, and will help to reduce the overcrowding. However, I strongly advocate the magnet program should be left untouched. Here are some reasons I like to share. So first, the current magnet program actually promote the diversity and also inclusion in the school system. So as a district-wide program with embedded lottery system, it already provides the equal opportunity for the students regardless of where they live. So they can all apply. They all have opportunity to be admitted. And also this current magnetic program actually is provide culture awareness and also acceptance of diversity. So this is definitely is evident from my personal experience. My kid is, he's a very proud Wildcat kid. So, and he said he made a lot of friends. So they lived in the same roof. It's not school in school. Actually, it's a one school. Secondly, I think the magnet program also brings a lot of honor, recognition, positive impact to the district overall reputation. I believe we should expand the magnet program to include more discipline. We should be excel in the sport, music, all kind of discipline. So by doing this, all the students can excel in the area they enjoy and they are good at. So which is true diversity. So finally, so dismantle the magnet program could cause many students to seek the admission to private or charter school. So which going to result a significant finance loss to the district. And further, the school voucher and the school choice bill recently implemented can potentially worsen this situation. So basically, in summary, so I would like to, I strongly support the rezone, this activity, but we should leave the magnet program is as it is. So to establish a program with a reputation takes years of effort, but to destroy it can happen overnight. So thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Wei Xue. I'm a parent. I want to thank the school board for spending time and listening to the public. Today, I want to share my concerns and let you know the difficulties and challenges my family will face if the Buellholz magnet programs are moved to the Lofton High School. I believe many other families will have similar or the same issues. The first challenge is the far distance and transportation. As school bus service is not offered to the magnet program students, for a family with both parents working and siblings attending other school, it is very difficult for the parent to drop off and pick up a child from a school that far away. Plus the transportation to Buellholz from Lofton for all after-school activities. I will talk more about that in my second point. We know high schoolers are so busy with their academic work, different clubs, sports, activities. Spending over 100 minutes each day on the road is too much for the student and the parent. The second challenge is related, but has more impact on the students. For example, my daughter is a math teamer and a student athlete. So she has regular trainings multiple days each week, right before and after school at Buellholz. If the magnet program is moved to Lofton, it will be extremely difficult for her to attend her regular clubs and sports practicing at Buellholz, where the rest of her teammates will be practicing together. Lofton and Buellholz are over 9 miles away. When the school ends at 2:42, the parents will be working at that time and not possible to skip work and pick up the child from one school and drop off at a different school and drive back to work. Third, I want to talk about the finance and entrepreneurship programs. These programs not only offer academic and technical courses, but they also give students opportunities to volunteer and participate in activities that truly help the community. For example, helping families doing taxes that can't afford to do it by using other services, or raising funds to help preterm babies. These activities truly helped and had positive impact on the community. I think these are great programs, and I'm worried that moving the program to Lofton High School will have negative impact on the programs. I think some students,
Sure.
Yeah, thank you for listening. And
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you. My name's David Eckhart. Thank you for your time this evening. I'm from Florida Credit Union, and I'm also a parent of Alachua County Schools. So I've been working for Florida Credit Union for 28 years. Many of you know we're founded by the teachers and been around from 1954, and spent all my career in financial management and serving Alachua County school teachers. And also been currently sitting on the board of the Alachua or the Academy of Finance as a board member here at the Buchholz High School, where we have a Bobcat branch there. And you've seen some of the students already that have presented here. And we, for the past 20 years plus, have had that program there, and we're very concerned, obviously, about that program moving. Through the journey over the 20 plus years, we've had this discussion about overcrowding at Buchholz. And this program's been sort of brought up many, many a times, and so I've done this speech a few times over the years. What's happened over the years is that program and other magnets, they tend to get less and less in terms of the number of kids they're allowed to accept out of zone. Busing changes have changed. We've persevered. We've had fantastic teachers, fantastic students. That program, as you can see from some of those have talked about the program, it's very life-changing. And it's not just our magnet program, but the other magnet programs that we've had. As an employee at Florida Credit Union, we spent a lot of money having that branch there. That branch was specifically built there. We've renovated it through the years a couple times. And we're committed to financial education for our students. We're committed to growing those kids into building careers, whether it's right out of school or going to college. We employ about 7 to 8 of those kids every year, but we also have volunteers at the school that we teach financial management skills. Some of those students that started 20 years ago are graduated from college, MBAs, and now still working for Florida Credit Union in high capacity positions at the credit union. We have some kids that come right out of high school and go right into the workforce. So both college preparatory and right out of it. So my concern with moving that program to a school like Lofton or doing away with it, I think it destroys really what has been created 20 plus years at Buchholz High School. I'm going to put my parent hat on. My timer hasn't really run, so I don't know where I stand in my 3 minutes, but I have 2 kids that it's gone, but I don't think the 3 minutes started from the top. But I have a parent of 2 kids. I'll make it in 10 seconds here. I'm zoned for Buchholz. They go to GHS. In the Cambridge program. One of the concerns I have is when you do make this change or when we change, it says when you are going to cut off the amount of time when they are no longer in this program. Consider what you're going to do with those kids.
Mr.
When that changes.
Thank you so much for your...
Hi, I'm Eileen Branham. I'm a parent here at a unique situation. My oldest was a graduate of the 2020 from the Cambridge program at GHS, where he was out of zone. We actually bought a house in Hale specifically so that he could go to Buchholz when we moved here when he was in 5th grade. And then we went to all the magnet open houses, and he decided that the Cambridge program was the best place for him. On the way from our house in Hale to Buchholz, he said to me, how much longer is it going to take to get there? Because he was used to coming from Hale right here to Wiles and Kanapaha. When I said to him, this is only 9 miles, we might as well not go to Eastside, because that 9-mile ride was almost too much for him to even want to continue into high school. But so my concern is removing of the magnet programs. My oldest son graduated from the GHS ACE program. My youngest, it would have been here tonight, but he's representing Buchholz in Orlando at the international competition for DECA, where he is one of 20 finalists left out of 22,000. It's such a testament to the quality of the Academy and the hard work and experience of Terry Hoffer and Wendy Roche. The academies at Buchholz are unique in that they have a fully functional student-run bank and a student cafe where the academy students can put their learning into practical use. The ACE program is one my oldest obviously went out of zone to attend to. I cannot sing its praises enough. My son has sailed through college based on what he learned in the ACE program. I know when he was a student there, he had several friends who were not in the program who were allowed to take classes ACE classes, just certain classes. I would love to see something like that be brought to the community so that these programs can be expanded to other schools and allowing more children to have access versus just moving them from one school to another. We should be allowing all students these opportunities and finding ways that we can expand their access instead of just talking about moving a program from one school to another.
I'm gonna make this short and sweet. My name's Sabrina Green, and like all the other parents here, my child is not old enough to go to high school yet. He's still in middle school. But my main concern is rezoning. I had to rezone him twice because of the school he was in elementary, he was zoned to. I did not want him to go there because he was already in one other school and he only had 1 year left, and I had to rezone him to another school, which the school he was rezoned to was further out than the school he was assigned to go to. So with this year, I have moved on the other side of town. Now I have to rezone him one more time because it's closer to my job, because I take him to school and my son doesn't ride the bus at all. So I take him to school. It's not a problem with me taking him to school. It's just my main concern is just when zoning starts, will he be able to go to that school, or will he be able to go to the school he's assigned to? And that's my main concern. The magnet program, he's in 4 o'clock right now. They have a lot of magnet programs there that they offer the young kids there, and I try to get him into it. But he already have a full schedule himself with all his other activities outside of the school with church and everything else. So I'm all for rezoning nationwide, district-wide. All the magnet schools need to be offered to all the students. Everything that's offered to them, it should be offered to the public schools also. So that's my main concern right there. So that's what I'm here for. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jen Garrett. I have 3 children in the Alachua County Schools, 1 in elementary, 1 in middle school, and 1 in high school. None of my children are in the magnet programs, but I did come to say that it's obvious from tonight and from the other meetings where parents and students have spoken that we have extraordinary magnet opportunities in our county, and I hope that you will preserve those, that you won't disrupt them for these kids that have already experienced so much disruption. I also wanted to speak about having a child that's not in the magnet program, yet I still feel like my son benefits from having access to the same AP classes that some of these other magnet attending children are in at Buchholz High School. And I really appreciate that. I feel like he really wasn't interested in finance or entrepreneurship, but he still has access to some of those higher level classes and he can take as many as he feels like he can handle, or as few. So I appreciate that school choice that the magnets offer and the opportunities. So I hope that we will preserve those. But I also wanted to speak to the fact that I recognize that we have under-enrolled schools. It's a huge problem. We have diversity issues within our schools. And I propose that we go with our strength and add more magnet programs. Maybe they're not all so academically focused. Maybe they're more like the criminal justice magnet that's been very successful in Newberry, and add more of those magnets into the schools that have under-enrollment. We also have the extraordinary math team at Buchholz. What other people in our community and within our schools have special talents like Mr. Frazier, who would be willing to say, I would be willing to come in and do a special magnet like this. Maybe it's something from the arts. I'm an artist. I wish we had more arts programs. I think that could be something at a high school level that could draw students to an under-enrolled school. I also wanted to speak about sports. I think the sports could be a huge way to draw students to some of these under-enrolled schools. I would love to see us pour into these sports for the benefits that it gives to the students and their behavior. I think there's a huge opportunity we're missing out on there. And it's also a great place for diversity. I think pouring into our sports in some of those under-enrolled schools and offering a magnet as a way for students to get out there would be one solution. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Olivia Cato. I have a son who's currently a sophomore, and in the 2024 to 2025 year, he'll be a senior. So my initial idea coming in here today was to talk to you about making sure that the seniors and juniors were that they would have the option of staying in their schools. So I was relieved to see that the seniors anyway will have the option of staying at their current school, but I just wanted to strongly urge you to consider allowing juniors to also stay at their current school. As we said, the zones haven't been changed for 40 years, so these kids have grown up with each other. They've gone through elementary, middle, and 2 years of high school together, and for them to be yanked out, like I know my son has his close friend group, and if one of them, had to go to another school, didn't know any other kids, that would be devastating. And I feel like emotionally, mental health-wise, with not only with everything they've already gone through with COVID and being separated and all that, but just even if that didn't happen, I think to be pulled out the last 2 years would be really difficult. So I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Han Yi. So I'm here today to raise I'm not really concerned about rezoning. With the expansion of the city and also more population, I believe it's necessary. However, I do urge the community to put more effort to it. Now we are all hearing all the concerns. All the community come here, all the people showing up or not showing up, they all care about educations. And I believe the sole purpose of the education is to educate our youth to the respectful and productive citizens. So right now, you're just telling us, putting a rezone line there, but you are not providing a comprehensive plan. You're just telling us a line. So we need to see that the actions after you put the zone there. So for example, we need to enrich our students with more activities, curriculums, and with all the population, for example, if they all move to the east side, right, a lot of them will be moved to east side because they are low capacities. What kind of resources will provide? How do you make sure everyone get what they need? To educate the youth, we need to make sure our actions all should be focused on what we can provide them the best possible plan, instead of just saying, give us your input, but you don't provide us a plan. The actions and the input should be based on the plan. And when I'm looking at this is my concern now. When I look at the criteria, it's all like the financial efficiency, the school capacity, the convenience of access to the schools, not much about the quality of the education and how to make sure all our kids really they are gifted in many ways, right? So we all admit that. How do we make sure their gifts are being enhanced, and also we provide them the resource? We need to see that. So you will see less concern and less complaint, because we need actions. I truly believe that you guys have all the good intentions, but remember, the road to the health is paved with good intentions. We need good actions. The intention really need to be paired with all the planning, all the resources. I'm sure all the parents here, and also parents are not showing up, they all care about the qualities. If you can put input from all the community and all the help and support from the community, that's what we want to see, instead of just telling us rezoning. And right now, the timeline you've given are only a few months. So I don't think that's going to be enough for us to come up with a comprehensive plan. Let's not call it comprehensive rezoning. Let's call it comprehensive enhancing education program. That's what we need. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, the school board. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Charlie Lee. I'm a newcomer to this county. I recently, my family moved from Georgia to Gainesville, Florida. I'm a UF faculty member. I hope I can provide a little bit of fresh perspective from a newcomer's point of view. So when we were in Georgia, northern Georgia, we moved from Athens, Georgia. My two kids actually attended, one of the best schools in Georgia, maybe top 5, top 10. It took them only 5-10 minutes to go from my home to school. But right now, my oldest son, he's in Lincoln. It takes him, 30-40 minutes to go from home. We live in southwest of Gainesville. It takes so long every day to commute. So initially, I don't understand. And later, after I attended the school's open house, I came to appreciate and like the Lyceum program, magnet program. And my son also gradually likes this magnet program. Initially, he resisted to come to Gainesville. But this magnet program, I think is very attractive because it offers rigorous and challenging curriculum. So my son can learn even he is in middle school, he can learn high school algebra, stuff like those kind of geometry, those class. So I think it's very good, it's very attractive for students. I remember when we were looking for housing before we moved here, the realtor told us the story about Buchholz, legendary Mr. Fraser's, math teacher, math program. He's from Wall Street trader, stuff like that. So that's also one reason that attract us here. So I think when we consider rezoning, we certainly should protect our excellence, our strength. I think one parent said, well, we should go with our strength, right? Magnet program is one of our strengths. We should protect and promote it instead of destroying it or compromising it. That's one of my points. Another point I want to make is magnet program actually promotes diversity. I also want to draw my experience in Georgia. Actually, in northern Georgia, the schools my kids attended actually is not very diverse. Most of them are white kids. But when we get here, I think we like the diversity. I think this diversity is from the magnet program. I think repeated research has proven this magnet program offers opportunity and diversity.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Lee,
very much for your listening.
input. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Ellison. I have 3 students that have graduated. One's 21, one's this year, and one's next year. And I kind of come from a different perspective. My kids have all been in magnets, whether it's middle school or high school. But I bought my home in Newberry so my kids could go to school in Newberry. And so when we talk about the possibility that we could have to rezone to the other side of town, the idea that you put a magnet on the other side of town, that you attract people that want to go to the other side of town is such a good idea. My oldest wanted to go to Buchholz and she wanted to go in the magnet. And I said, you know what? I'm not driving you to Buchholz. You need to be in your community school where you can do activities, where you can know your teachers, and grow up with the same kids. And next month, my senior is going to do a senior walk at the elementary school and see the teacher she had when she was in elementary school. So for me, it's a kind of a little different perspective. I'd like my kids to go to school where their home is. And I do appreciate that they did the magnet at Oakview. And 2 of them have done the magnet at Newberry High School. And I appreciate all these thoughts that you guys are listening to. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ellison.
Hello,
everyone. My name is Tianyao Huo. So I have a daughter who attended Williams William Elementary magnet program, and so I got some sense of her her classmate from just like some of the residents already shared. From what I see, I saw great diversity. Like her class is well presented, by every racial kids from all the race ethnicity group. Yeah, basically, and they get on really well. So I do think like keeping magnet program will be actually important to promote diversity, because kids, there are gifted kids who come from the whole Alachua County, and I think just like people said, they have already experienced a pandemic. They have already been negatively impacted by, academically. And the last thing we want to do is more disruption for those kids. And for rezoning, one I want to share another experience. At the very beginning of the class, I saw a big hole on the wall of their classroom. So what I see is like some of those, school buildings are really, really old. Like literally, I think instead of rezoning, one possibility, it may sound crazy, is maybe, moving some of the school to the west, because, over the years, the population on the west of the county has grown tremendously, but there's just not enough schools for, to match the fast growth of Alachua County. So maybe, I feel like the location of the school should actually match the population distribution of those counties, rather than moving kids from one place to another, and that would cause more burden for the family and more transportation problem. Yeah, I just feel like I understand it's not easy. It's not easy to build new schools. It was require more funding, a lot of planning. But I feel like at least that's a long-term thing that we should consider. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Brothers, and I'm the director of the Academy of Finance. I was at Oakview last week, and I'm out here tonight, and I just want to say to my students and the parents, y'all are fantastic. And I'm probably going to embarrass myself because I'm not going to be as good a speaker as them, but I am the fairy godmother, so I'm okay with it. But anyways, I just wanted to share with you all that I've been the director for the past 16 years, and this ugly monster has attacked us more than once. You just have to whisper, we may move the magnet at Buchholz, and it's like an uproar because we are a fantastic academy. And I know that I have invited you all to our senior luncheon this week, and I want to also invite you to my classroom anytime. Because if you want to see a quality education, there's a reason why these parents and these students are fighting for that magnet or coming to bring to your attention that it is a fantastic place for their child. I can tell you that we have had an Academy of Finance at a different school, and it didn't work. It closed. There's a reason. You got to learn from experience, and we have the experience at Buchholz with a Class Act program. So to want to move us or shut us down, I've been there since 1997. I'm dating myself now, but 1997, it's a roller coaster. Sometimes we have a lot of students, sometimes the enrollment's down a little bit. Right now, in the last few years, it's been up. Why? Because we're building on this side of town, and it's like Newberry. Newberry's not gonna The population in the schools is not going to die down. There's a bunch of building going on. So what do? How do we address that? Well, we don't take class act programs and magnets that are really building these students up for success in college and in careers and say, oh, let's move it. That's not the way to do it. It's celebrate that we're fantastic, celebrate the honors and the accolades that these students are earning. And at Buchholz, we have a lot of accolades, and we have a lot of students that are successful. So I would ask you, please come visit the magnet. It might not be successful somewhere else, just like it wasn't in the past. So what do? Yes, rezone, but also keep the magnets there. And it's not fair just because you don't live on this side of town that you won't have access to that program. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Brothers.
Thank you for providing the opportunity. This is Victor Guan. I'm working for Victor. Yeah. I'm working at the UF. I'm a parent of two sons. The first one is at the Beer Hall, and the second one, I hope he has a chance to join Lincoln Middle School.
Jackie.
So first things I would like to say is as a parent, I'm very happy that my son has a chance to take the program that he wants. And I'm very happy to deliver them to school even though they're far away. And another thing is my understanding as a parent, I live here for 14 years. When I came here, one thing attracted me to get here is because of the school system here. Because I know from my colleagues that this Gainesville has a very good education system, especially for middle school and high school students. And I had a chance to work in California, for University of Southern California. But I came here because I really care about my kids' education. So my bottom line here is I want to say is I support rezoning, but I hope the magnet program will be untouched. The reason for that is I talk to different people from the country. It's very normal to do rezoning because of population, especially in Florida and the southern states. But usually for most states, they don't make the magnet program a change because the purpose of magnet program is they try to get best resource for the best students who want to get the rigorous programs. They can expand the program from a STEM field or can be sports. And each school will have its own criteria and own favor and own specialty. And this is going to be utilized best resource. Another side is I'm doing research in automation. Let's say I'm sure if it's a profit mission, if we do resource, basically we care about resource, for the education systems. And I did a consultant for, not in Florida, but some other states about how to best allocate resources for education system like a middle school or high school or even elementary school. And then I talked with them why magnet program is not zoning. They said because magnet program first is special class group of students. And if the zoning, the size of which school at each zone will be smaller, it will affect the quality of magnet program. So because this is not the whole population. Another one is because if we have several magnet programs, then each school will lose its identity in terms of what's good for the school. And this school spend a lot of time making them visible in the nation. And for example, people here, East Side, they have IB program, they have this math program and other programs. So this takes time to build, and usually they make it become stronger and stronger. And if you want to expand it, instead of rezoning, we can use the resource to build other program like sports. Another thing for that is diversity. Because many programs, because they have kids from different zonings, the bad thing for zoning, because they do not have too much about diversity. Because some areas, because of housing price, so therefore going to be actually hurt the diversity. But many programs can cross disciplines, people can to each other. Give them a chance. Thank you.
Is there anyone else before we end our citizen input?
I'm so touched for all the parents talking about this. And before I come here, I only want to know what's the reason and want to know some information. But after that, I forgot to introduce myself.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. I'm Fang. I have a 7th grade kids in the Lyceum program in Lincoln Middle School. Now he also in the Miss Fraser's math team, take some class in Bill House. And before I come here, I only want to know what's the reason information. After I get the information from all the parents talk and you give us the slides in introduction, I feel that's the magnet program is the best program in Gainesville. And we should keep this intact. And also, from the several parents talk, I'm thinking about we can expand the magnet program. If you think some school have the low enrollment, and we can put some, like that's one parent talk about that. Each school has the identity, and maybe you can put one magnet program or 2 magnet program in that low enrollment school, and also from the talk of those students. And I didn't talk to my son yet, and he's in swimming now. So if I talk to him, the Bill Hall magnet program will be destroyed. I'm sorry, he must say it's the silly things. This is, sorry, I say some not the good words, but I feel the magnet program now is the best things in Gainesville. In our community, I love our community. We should keep the good things and expand that. That's my point.
Thank you, Ms. Fong.
We have reached the end of the program, the end of our session. We have another session coming up on Thursday, also at 5:30 at Metcalf Elementary School. Thank you all for coming and have a safe trip home.